Greetings, everybody! Welcome to the first episode of my rambling series, where I'm gonna be complaining about various stuff. I will be giving some potential solutions, my ideas, and so on. So, we are starting with professions. First, we are going to talk about gathering professions and then production professions. Of course, fishing is included in the gathering professions. So yeah, let's begin. First off, let's go to gathering professions, and this little priest thankfully has skinning, which in Legion received something called skinning skills, which you can rank up depending from certain, things you have to do. It's not a bad idea, but it's still kinda lacking. And as we all know, professions for a while now, especially in Warlords, were in a really poor state. So, here are my ideas, but before we go into anything like, scanning, mining and so on, we will start with fishing. Fishing, which is for the most part just this, and then just right-clicking on some bobber. It's boring. It could be made into some kind of a minigame, or even something like what we have in Black Desert Online, which again is a minigame of sorts, but there is also a possibility of obtaining fish through the so-called AFK fishing, which probably wouldn't be bad, especially if the next idea I have would be implemented. So, as we all know, fishing skill is not really that important. It's just there. It just allows you to fish in higher leveled areas. I mean, you will be able to still fish in, let's say, Outland, while you have only one level in Vanilla's fishing, but you will be getting mostly junk. And yeah, even if I would come here with my druid, who is maxed out on fishing, I would still be getting the same thing as somebody with, let's say, 50 points of fishing. So, the idea here is make fishing skill matter. But before we go into that point, we need to talk about Warlords fishing, which actually was pretty reasonable. The idea of small, medium and enormous fish was good. The filleting, not a fan of it, but it worked. It did work. The better you were at fishing, the better rewards you got, because small fish weren't worth that much flesh, aka fish meat. The medium ones were worth more, and the big ones were worth even more. So of course everybody wanted enormous fish. So yeah, this is pretty much the idea. Allow each place to have various sizes of fish. Of course, I know this would force Blizzard to actually go back to the old zones and make new IDs for new items, aka the small, medium and big fish, and their potential flesh, which, unlike in Warlord, I would say they should already be filleted after we obtain the item, instantly. Something like what we can see in the Suramar, Legion pickpocketing. You pickpocketed an item and it changed instantly into currency, coins of air or whatever they were called. That would be a nice thing. That would actually work nicely. Just, instead of the currency bar, it would go to the inventory. But yeah, again, having those ideas would actually, having this idea would allow people with higher skill to actually be rewarded more. Because let's say I'm fishing here in this lake. On a low level, let's say 20 points, I would be getting just small fish, which are worth, let's say, 1 point of, 1 flesh. And let's say there is somebody who has 100 points of fishing. He gets medium-sized fish, which are worth, let's say 2, maybe 3. And then there's this guy with maxed out fishing. he would be getting those enormous ones which are worth, let's say, 5 each. And I say that well, actually, do I have cooking on this character? It's gonna be easier to actually show. I do have cooking. It's not maxed out, it's not even close to being maxed out. So let's say that we have something with fish, preferably. Something more difficult to make, maybe? Okay. Let's say that this would be a basic recipe, right? We fish out one small sage fish. This would be enough for this recipe. Somebody who fishes out a medium-sized fish would get enough for 2, maybe 3. And somebody with high enough skill who fishes out a big fish would be getting big ones worth, as I mentioned, about 5 points. So it would be enough for 5 meals. Which kinda makes sense. I mean, the bigger the fish, it means that it will last for longer to eat, you know. More servings of it. But yeah, this is just a basic idea, and of course the minimal level would still be kept, right? The minimal level of each zone, but instead of scaling like classic and then TBC and so on, go back to the old skill levels, from 1 to whatever it would be, 950 or something. It would work better with this, because your skill would actually matter. Now, other thing is, in some areas you were getting some random items, or for example the Lankers, again back to Warlords of Draenor. Those were possible to fish from schools with the proper lure, or if you had Nutpeggle in your garrison. So how about allowing something similar, like finding a very rare fish which is worth a lot to some NPC. That NPC would be so proud of you, or so happy to actually receive that fish, that you would get something from him, either gold, artifact power, maybe resources, or something else, some items maybe. I mean, I did enjoy the daily quests for fishing, for example. They allowed a chance for a pet, for some new toys, for new fishing rods, and so on. But enough for fishing. Keep in mind, this is just my suggestion, my idea, and my rambling. Let's go to the proper gathering professions. Let's start with, for example, skinning. Somebody who is at level 1 with skinning. Let's say we are in Darkshore, we kill a deer. We skin it, we get 1, maybe 2 scraps of leather. Somebody who has, I believe it was 25 points, maybe a bit higher, receives a single leather. So, again, keeping the minimal level required. Whenever English access stopped working. If we kill a deer and our skinning level is at least 50, maybe 100 skill points higher, that means we will be getting more. Just keep in mind, this would have some limitations potentially, because inflation in materials could end badly. On the other hand, it would also most likely help new players a lot. So, we kill a deer and we harvest, let's say we have 400 skill in skinning. We get, let's say, 3 additional skins. So that means we get 4 items from the deer, plus potential meat, maybe some other crafting materials from, from meats, bones and whatever. And the same thing would go for herbs and mining. Like, when you're mining something and you don't have enough level, you get nuggets, which then can be converted, I believe it's 10 to 1, into ores, like the proper ore. Again, keeping the minimal level to mine something like let's say mithril. Every 100 points above the required skill, you would be getting additional 1 ore. It's a simple solution, yes, but it could be so... well, it would be worth it. For one, it would make the profession actually worth investing time into, and second part, it's actually possible to actually normalize the market a bit with it. Because in some areas, older herbs, older ores, skins, they are worth way too much for a new player to actually bother with it. We're not talking about the veteran ones, because, for example, me, I have my priest, I have some other characters, I have my mage. I can go and farm without any issues. But a new player does not have a 120. So, yeah. And now to the crafting profession, which probably is, well, the most difficult thing to talk about. Let's go to the bottom and let's start with, for example, pants, something low level. Okay, brown linen pants. Item level 10, required level 5. So, as I mentioned, professionals in overall are in a poor state. Nobody uses them for the most part, unless you're doing one of those self-sufficient challenges. So yeah, as you can see, it requires 2 bolts of linen cloth. Yes, I have a lot because I'm a crafter, and a lot of coarse thread, which again, I'm a crafter. So yeah, 2 cloth and 1 thread. But how about the ability to spend more resources to create a better version? Let's say that we add 1 more cloth and 1 more thread to increase the item level by 1. Of course, after hitting a certain item level, like let's say in this case 22, we would have to add, or well, exchange the linen to woolen cloth and fine thread. And again, we could level this up a little bit by spending more resources. Of course, stuff like the dyes and stuff still would have to be applied, keep in mind. And again, increase by, let's say, 50% each time. And yeah, up to the silk cloth level, which would be 28. You know what I'm meaning now. Just allow us to use different materials to create stronger materials. Like have a slider somewhere here, or just buttons up and down, and then the item level would just change. Of course, the minimal item level would also, the minimal level required for the character to actually wear it would also rise proportionally. It could work really nicely. I mean, nobody uses those items unless they prepare beforehand. But let's say there is somebody who is a level 50 in Ashen Veil. He's not gonna get proper items there. No, he'll be getting wool cloth, he will be getting medium and maybe heavy leather. He will not obtain the required levels to craft level 50s. Which, okay, there's a nice idea. We would need rune cloth, which does not drop in Ashen Veil. This is a little bit of a downside of the zone scaling, but I'm not gonna ditch about that, because for the most part I do enjoy that idea. It works pretty nice. And yeah, this is just the general crafting professions pretty much in a nutshell. Allow us to spend better materials to create better items. Of course, the item level, the skill level would matter, because this would limit how high we can improve our item. So let's say we would need, well, actually I have no idea. Let's say, for now at least, if the skill level would be, again, like 850 or something, every 50 points we could improve an item using the same item by 4 item levels. Like, you know, instead of spending 3, we could be spending 6, 9, or whatever. This, of course, is me just rambling and not designing anything yet. So yeah, this is just a basic idea, but it could have really nice ideas here and there. Now, one profession that is really pissing me off for quite a while. Enchanting. Because, you know, there are plenty of enchants in the game. There are enchants for boots, there are enchants for cloaks, weapons, necks, rings, pretty much everything. Hell, even the armor platings from leatherworking, or leg enchants from tailoring and leatherworking. Those are really nice. But unfortunately, for a while now, I believe since Legion, no wait, Warlords, we are being very limited. We don't have enchants on boots, we cannot use the armor patches, we cannot have the blacksmithing socket on belt, I think it was? Belt buckle? Whatever it was. We cannot enchant our Heart of Azeroth. So yeah, as I said, there are plenty of enchants in the game, but most of them have a maximum level they can actually go. Excuse me. The maximum item level of an item they can go on. I believe it's, for the most part, 136, which is Warlord's level. So why not allow us to actually use better materials for the old enchants to create better enchants? I mean, we could effectively just remove a bunch load of enchants, which, let's be honest, most of them are not really useful unless you're building a twink. So allow us to just switch the materials. Or hell, even use the old materials to give ourselves this 1 point of stamina on boots. I mean, what's the harm in that? I mean, I still don't understand that. Why not allowing people to have more choices of enchanting certain gear? I would like to have my entire gear enchanted, improved and everything. Same goes for jewel crafting. My main is a leatherworking / jewel crafting person. And as for leatherworking is fine for transmogs, and only transmogs, jewel crafting is such a rarity these days to actually make money of, because sockets, for the most part, are rare. Let's see, do I have many sockets on her gear? 1. Whole 1. I have whole 1 gem. Yes. I miss having the good old predefined gem slots on items. I did enjoy that. I'm honestly, even if it would be just one item, well, not one item, just one slot per item here and there, and then have a chance to have an additional one. I don't mind that, that would be nice. Also, keep in mind the random stuff that's happening to gear. I will be talking about that at some other point, and trust me, there's a lot of rambling about that. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Just allow us to use better materials to use the old enchants, because, let's be honest, most of them are the same. Hey, here's some chance for a crit. Hey, here's some chance for a crit. Hey, in this expansion we have a new name for it, but it's still just a chance for a crit. So yeah, just allow us to switch materials around so we can create stronger ones and remove the maximum item level requirement. Although a minimal one could possibly be needed there. So yeah, that's one thing. Alchemy. It's pretty much the same thing as enchanting. Most of the old stuff is irrelevant. Maybe with the exception of healing potions here and there, because people are doing those Iron Man challenges still and whatnot. So they may want the healing pots here and there. But yeah, again, limit the recipes to just healing potion, mana potion, regeneration potion, buffing potions of various sorts. But again, allow us to use either more or better herbs and materials to just, you know, create better potions and flasks. That would work better. Same for the trinkets the alchemist can make. Spend more and better resources to craft a potentially better item. Well, yeah. The only profession I don't really have much against at this point are scribes, inscription. Because they just make glyphs for the most part. I mean, I know there are those books, there are those fans, some hands, staves. Again, the same rule as for the others would go, but let's be honest, for the most part, scribes make glyphs, and they make money off glyphs. But yeah, it would be nice to actually make some neat, powerful staves from time to time. But yeah. Thank you for listening to my ramble. If you have some ideas, some issues you would want to actually, well, talk about professions in this case, leave a comment down below. And if you did enjoy this session of me rambling like a fool, leave a like, comment, subscribe and share. Of course, if you don't agree, just leave a dislike. And call me out an idiot. I mean, do what you will, eh? Anyways, I will see you in the next episode. And trust me, there are a few already recorded. And I'll see you then. Bye!